Hey guys, it's Jago. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I've got something a little different for you guys. As you know, the new Ultimate just came out yesterday, and we've been doing a little bit of prog, and we managed to get the thordan. So I wanted to make a real quick guide, just from like a healer's point of view, on how to get you guys through the nights to phase 2 and get that thordan checkpoint. So real quick, we're just gonna go over it. I'm gonna do all this from a specific healer point of view because I haven't played any other roles in here yet, guys. So my understanding as to like intricacies of like tank and DPS stuff might not be super great, but I've done it on shield healer and region healer, so hopefully if you healers out there are trying to get through this, I can help you out. So we're gonna go ahead and just watch the pool, and I'm gonna explain things as they go. As always, I'll have my handy little pin to help make some marks on the screen so we can talk about some things. So first thing we're gonna have here is Empty Dimension. That's gonna be the first cast. As you can see, this is going to create a large AoE ring around the outside. We need to be inside the circle. Also, as you can see, there's a tether right here. One of the tanks will need to take that tether and take it to the north part of the circle, while the rest of the party stacks on the south part of the circle. This is going to make us safe from that tether damage. Also, there's going to be a lot of damage going out here, guys, so be prepared to heal. I would also recommend mitigation on this. It takes you down extremely low without, so I would say some sort of shield from your shield healer, or Reprisal works good. White Mage's Wings is also really good here. Of course, Scholar's Expedient. I don't know if this is really the point in the fight where you want to be using that, but it's a 10% damage mitigation, so, you know, that's up to you. I'm not your cooldown planner. So let's go ahead and go back and we'll watch this again. We'll do it in slow-mo here. Alright. Alright, so we have the two bosses stacked up. The party's going to stand south. There's the tether going out. I don't know if you guys can see that. It is right here. There's the tether that the tank needs to take. Then we're going to get the AoE circle. Tank takes that tether north. You can see they're up there with that tether. Party stack south. And that should resolve that mechanic nice and neat for you guys. Alright, we're going to go ahead and go back to normal speed here. Alright guys, so the next mechanic we're going to have to deal with is going to involve these markers that we see on top of the player's head. Now this is going to go on 4 players. This is random who's going to get these markers. And how we're going to deal with this is actually very, very simple, you guys. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to these markers back here. We're just going to go to these markers and stand on them. And what's going to happen is the boss is going to shoot out a large AoE at each one of these. And in the line of sight of that AoE, a portal is going to be placed. And we need these portals to be on the outside of the arena, because in a moment we're going to have to do some moving, and if we get too close to them, they're going to kill us. It's just like the vault dungeon from Heaven's Sword. If you guys remember that, the level 67 vault dungeon. Same portal mechanic we're dealing with here. Don't put your back to it. Don't get too close to it. This is how we're going to place the portals. And it also should be noted that whenever this happens, there's going to be a large cleave baited on the rest of the party. So if you don't have a tether, you cannot be on the same side as the people with the tethers. If you have a tether, we need to go north first. So we'll always go north first and then south second. So the people with the markers will go north first and bait. The rest of the party is going to stack south of the boss right here to bait that cleave. And then once that goes off, the next tethers will be baited south, and you will need some healing and mitigation in between here. Maybe throw up like a Medica or throw a Lily out. Sage ability, Panheima, is really good here. Obviously, it's good for everything. Spread low, any kind of Scholar shields, because there is going to be damage going out in between both of these with the cleaves and the tethers. So let's go ahead and watch this mechanic play out. We get the markers. Everybody's going to go north and bait those. Now, I should note that you don't have to actually stand inside the marker. You can be up a little bit, but you need to be in that line of sight. Those are going to go off. Come in and do some healing. The next group's going to go out and bait. And that resolves that mechanic. Now, as you can see, Sir Adelfell just moved away, the Paladin. He is going to the north of the arena. Now, he can go to any cardinal, north, south, east, or west, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the warrior here in the center of the arena while just doing a little bit more damage. And what's going to happen is the Paladin is going to do a dash. He's either going to dash this way or this way, and that's going to determine the path he moves for the rest of this mechanic. And he's always going to go in a Z formation. So you can watch on the bottom of his hitbox, it'll turn before he moves. So say he goes left, he's going to then go across this way and then back down this way. So what that's going to do is that would leave a safe spot right here. On the edge of this point behind the marker is usually where I go. So let's go ahead and watch this mechanic play out so you guys can see exactly how this dash works. Now, there's a couple ways you can deal with this. This Faith Unmoving cast that you see happening is actually a knockback. So what we need to do is either pop anti-knockback or get knocked back and then rotate into a safe spot. I personally prefer to move up towards the Paladin right here in the middle of this block and use anti-knockback and then just rotate the opposite direction of his attack, his dash. That's going to put you in a safe spot every time. Or you can do what most groups are doing and get knocked back and then just rotate the other direction. Either way is fine. You'll be safe either way. But that's how it works. Let's go ahead and watch this play out. See, I pop that anti-knockback, get a heal off real quick before we move because the tanks are going to take some heavy autos here. As you can see, I'm trying to throw some Divine Benisons on the main tank right now. Obviously, Sage is preferred because Cardia is awesome in here, but we didn't have that. So we survive the dashes, and then we're going to pull them back into the middle. Now, next here, we have the PlayStation mechanic. Now, there's multiple ways you can deal with this mechanic as well. It kind of depends on your group comp. So in this video that you're going to see here, we were actually using a chat macro that just called out where to stand for each position, which worked really well because we had someone who was colorblind in our party. And typically what you would do is you would do markers for this. You would color coordinate your markers. So green would go to yellow, red would go to red colored markers, blue would go to blue colored markers, and purple would go to purple colored markers. And I actually have a nice little graphic here that I can show you guys for this. I'll pop it up on the screen right now. It's going to show you exactly how to get knocked back for this mechanic to do it successfully. Like I said in the video, we're doing it a little bit different than this because we had someone who was colorblind in the group, so we just made the adjustment to use a macro for them, and it worked just fine, guys. Either way you want to do it is totally fine. Now, there is something pretty important to be noted about this, is that this knockback cast is going to come from Sir Greneau, the warrior. That's this guy right here. So you might want to make sure that you have him focus targeted. That way you can be sure that you're standing in the hitbox of the right knight, because we want to make sure that we're planted along the edge of this hitbox, because if we're too spread apart when these tethers spawn, then they will not break when we get knocked back. So we want to just make sure that we're on that hitbox and we get knocked back into the corners. It should also be noted that you can see in this diagram that I posted, there is a yellow circle around each PlayStation button. That represents an AoE that's going to go off once the chains break and you get knocked back. The chains do cause a damage over time, so if you don't break the chains, that AoE coupled with the dot are absolutely going to kill you. I popped wings and used Lilybell for this. Sage, you can just throw out a shield, or again, Panheima. If you want to use it here, you can swap those out. It's kind of up to you. Spread Low is also really good here. Expedient would be good too. I also like to take just a step out once we get knocked back to the corner to make sure the chain breaks. And you'll see that happen here as we resolve this. So we're going to move into position around the hitbox, get knocked back, break the chains, pop the Lilybell to get some healing, and then we're going to move back in. Now we're going to pull the bosses back together here. And we're just going to DPS. We need to burn them down evenly. So again, we can do some AoE damage here. And it should also be noted that there is a heal cast that goes off during this. That needs to be interrupted. It's going to have the flashing cast bar. You guys will see it. It's a classic interrupt bar. So that needs to be taken care of, or the Paladin will heal himself for 15% of his health every time it goes off. As you can see, I didn't get out for the in-out mechanic. That is the next step. Full Dimension is the name of the cast here. You can see this. So there will be Full Dimension or Empty Dimension. Full dimension is out, empty is in. So at full, we're all gonna get away from the boss. Away from the boss. As you can see, I didn't make it quite in time. Luckily, our other healer was able to res me, and we were still able to go. As you guys just saw that cast bar on the bottom of the screen, Holiest Hallowing, that's it right there. That would be the heal. It's basically Clemency, and it does 15% of his health. So that needs to be kicked or you will not meet this damage check. You can have your ranged and tanks like swap out who's going to interrupt it. It really doesn't matter. It just has to happen. Alright guys, and then this here is going to be the very last mechanic. People call it Carousel, Pure of Heart. I think Pure of Heart is probably what most people are going to be calling this. So what's going to happen now is we're going to have 3 knights spawned here in a row, as you can see them here. And how this is going to work is we are going to have the party stack right here in the middle on this 3rd knight. Now what needs to happen is we're going to have to bait some conal AoEs and some circle AoEs. And we're going to do this in whatever order works out for your party. I think most groups are doing tanks, melee, ranged, healer. So how it's going to work is the tanks will go out on the sides of the boss here and bait the conal AoEs. After that, both tanks will rotate here to the east and, or the west, sorry, and bait their circle AoEs. Then the melees will do the same thing. Then the ranged will do the same thing, except the ranged are going to come over here to bait their AoEs, and the healers will also come over here to bait their AoEs. So, and you can swap sides. It doesn't matter which role goes to which sides, but it does matter that they get split up like that. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and drop the playback speed here for you guys again. That way we can check this out in slow motion. So as you can see, we have the tanks over here ready to bait their conals. Those are about to go off. There's the conal AoEs. Now they're going to move and bait their circle AoEs. While the melees move into place, they bait theirs. Ranged go south. Melees, I'm sorry, the ranged go second. Then they're going to bait their AoEs. And we do this to alternate the bomb drops. Then healers. Then we go south and bait. And once you've done all that properly, guys, and you don't die, this is it. You're fighting Thordan. So thank you so much for watching this guide. I really hope this helps you guys get through phase 1. I know it's kind of rough and it's not perfect, but I'm super sleep deprived right now, you guys. I've been raiding for 2 days, and I was so excited to finally get through and get to Thordan checkpoint that I wanted to put this out there so maybe it could help somebody out. So thanks so much for watching my channel, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day.